Hello there, everyone. We're back. Had to figure out what was going on with that camera. Welcome to the second edition of Johnny Davis Live. Guys, we want to make sure that I wanted to go over this really important piece about finding the ideal manager. A lot of people out there are, have people who kind of help them out, try to find them fights, take care of their business for them and all of that, okay? And that's great. Nothing wrong with it, right? But you need to make sure that you have somebody who's going to really, take care of you. So I want to just, discuss a couple of the things that I think can be very helpful for you, and that might save you a lot of headache down the road. For those of you who don't know me, I was a two-time world champion fighter. Actually ended up with like 7 titles altogether. I've been in the industry for like 40 years. So I, from promoting to marketing to a lot of different things. So I thought that it would be really nice to, just take a minute to go over some of the ideas that might help you, maybe jump over a couple of hurdles in the process to getting someone to help you out, guys. And everybody needs a good manager. And it might be your dad, it might be your brother, your sister, your aunt, your friend. But, a couple of things that you have to have with them. One thing, you got to trust them. You got to have trust. It's got to be someone who beyond a shadow of a doubt that they have your back. You have to know that you can trust these people with your life, that you can trust them with your finances, right? Really, really important. A lot of people, sometimes just because a person is in the business, right, they just assume that, okay, hey, you can manage me, you can take care of me, I know you can. They haven't done it. They don't know. They don't know that, whether they don't really know the person, and they certainly don't know if they can trust them. So trusting that person for handling your life, your time, and your finances is huge. That's big. The other thing is that they got to care about your goals. One of the things that my manager early on, that one of the first conversations we had was, hey, I want to be a world champion. I was like 16 years old. I was saying it since I was 12. But one of the first conversations I had with him was that I want to be a world champion. He said, well, you're pretty good. I think you can do it. Right. But hey, that was at the very bottom. And I'm saying that at that early age. But so he believed in me. So you got to have somebody who sees your talents and believes in you. Really, really important, guys. So, but they got to care about your goals, and they have to have a passion for being in the business, whether it's for you or for them, or have an end goal or whatever. I think with me, the end goal was kind of like, for my manager, was kind of multi-purpose. He was passionate about the sport, but he and I became great friends, and he cared about my goals and what I wanted to accomplish, right? And so having somebody that really cares about you is really important. The other thing is, they got to be willing to work for you. They got to be willing to put in the time and the commitment that's needed to help you reach your goals. That's hard sometimes, because people are kind of selfish. Sometimes it's all about, me. You got to have somebody who's willing to put you almost before them, especially when it comes to management. And if they don't do that, they probably won't be a very good manager for you. They have to be committed. They have to be invested into helping you reach your goals. So they got to be willing to work, because it's not easy. Anybody's in this business, making contacts with people and things like that, getting denials, I should say, people, telling you no, right? It's not easy. So having somebody in here who cares enough about you to really put the work in for you is really, really important for finding the ideal manager. As I said earlier, that you have to have somebody who recognizes that you are skilled and that you are talented. That's really big, because sometimes people are, well, yeah, I just put you out there and just get a bunch of fighters in this case, and they have a bunch of people on this list, and they don't really care whether you're talented. They just want to get paid. Whenever you fight, they want to get paid, as if a pro situation or whatever. So they got to really believe that you are really good enough to go all the way to the top 10 or go all the way to the top, whether it's amateurs or pros or whatever that agenda is. They got to really believe in your talents. Another thing is that your manager should make sure that they're honorable people, that they're honest. and that they're trustworthy and that they tell you to do the right thing. If you ever have a manager that tells you to do the wrong thing, like cheating on your weight or cheating on this or not doing that, or obviously, doing things, like taking some type of drugs or something like that, that is not a good manager. You have to have somebody that is going to be honorable, right? Somebody who's looking out for your benefit and try to make you do the right thing. Now, a couple of things they're going to do once they start managing you. They want to make sure that you get the right kind of sparring partners, for example, right? They want to make sure that, when people come in, that they're the kind of people that are not going to try to kill you in the gym. They're going to put you with people who care about, really working good technique and things like that, as opposed to just trying to take you out, right? So a part of that being a good manager is making sure they're taking care of you and the sparring aspect and everything that you're doing. Really, really important. They also have to know the business. It's important for them to understand, if it's in Muay Thai, it's kickboxing, it's boxing, or whatever the sport is, MMA, right? They need to understand the industry because there's a lot of quirks to the industry. And if they don't understand it, the personalities and certain types of rules and regulations, right? If you don't have a manager who might not know much at first, but if they're not a student of it, where they want to get in, they want to learn the game, if they don't want to do that, they might not make a very good manager for you. So you want to make sure that they understand the business if they are your manager. I had a situation not long ago where this is regarding matching, where this guy put this person in this fight that they really knew they couldn't win. They just wanted to put him in there just because. So that's not really smart. So you want to make sure that when you are setting your fighter up, that it's in a match really they can win. You don't want to ever put your fighter into a fight that they can't win. That makes no sense. That's dangerous. Fighting is a serious thing, right? You can get hurt. So you want to make sure that if you are involved in the matching aspect of this, that you put them in a game or in a fight that they can win. If they can't win, the potential of winning, more winning than not winning, right? If you do a scale, at least they got a 55% chance, of winning or whatever, opposed to 75% chance that you're going to lose, right? So a good manager is going to look at all of those things for you and not look at it for whatever else, maybe in a situation where you might can get hurt. Attitude. Obviously, you want a manager that has a respectful attitude. You don't want a manager who is going to have a bad attitude, don't get along with people, because nobody's gonna let you on their shows, right? You want somebody who's nice, who's cordial, and if they're treating other people like crap, there's your sign, right? If they're treating other people like, you see them treating people like crap, that's not going to make a probably good manager for you if they don't have good customer service skills and good people skills, right? So you want someone who has a great personality, right? Who gets along well with people, right? And making sure that they are going to also look at the promoter's attitude. What kind of attitude does the promoter have? A manager should be looking at that. Is a promoter a shyster? Is he somebody who keeps his word? He or she keeps their word? Right? Is it someone who you've seen that maybe has crappy shows and crappy events, right? The manager should know these things before they put their fighters in events like that, right? Really important. That's something that in order to find that ideal manager, right, you are going to have to look at this person and ask them certain questions about, you know what? Are you going to look into these things for me? Because again, if they are not, you could be in a bad situation very fast. Making sure the event is insured, making sure that they understand whether it's a semi-contact or it's full contact or it's MMA, whatever the rule style that's going to happen at the fight. They need to know that. If it's like in kickboxing, you got different rule styles. Well, I'm just going to fight. You can't say I'm just going to fight, not in kickboxing, right? You got to know what style of kickboxing you're going to be fighting in. International rules, unified rules, modified Muay Thai rules, full rule Muay Thai, and as far as kickboxing or this MMA, pancreation, whatever it might be, your manager needs to know that. And it's a good idea to have that stuff kind of on paper somewhere, where you can know exactly what you're getting into, how many rounds you're fighting, If it's a professional thing, how many rounds, what your purse is, obviously what the weight class is. You need to know. It's not a guessing game, and it's not something that should be just talked about. It should be in writing. A good manager is going to make sure that the information that he discusses with the promoter, it should be in writing, whether it's in text or whether it's on an email or messenger or whatever it is. It should be in writing, especially in the full contact, right? So a good manager should have everything in writing, right? So that you guys can make sure that you're on the same page. A lot of times I've seen managers who they have information and they don't share it with the fighter. So a good manager is going to really have an open book policy. They're basically going to say, okay, this is what we're looking at. This is what's happening. He shouldn't just say, okay, this is what this is about. Just sign here. You can be signing anything. As a fighter, you want to read whatever you're signing, right? That helps keeps a manager, a good manager, good and honest. So as a fighter, you want to be, smart enough to read things and to understand what you're signing. You want to have a manager also that's intelligent enough to understand contracts, legal ease, and things like that, right? If he's not, he might find himself signing something that could get a lot of people in trouble. If he does not understand these things, the next thing to do is get somebody who does, right? That's important. So a good manager, even if he doesn't know everything, he's going to get someone, right, who is going to understand what you're signing and what you need to do. And that's also signs of a good manager. Being a delegator. I call myself a delegator, right? What you don't know, good people around you that knows. Very good sign. Even when it comes to the trainer, the manager is kind of over the trainer too, ultimately. So the manager would also make sure you have a good trainer, make sure that trainer knows what they're doing, and all of those things are going to work out a lot better for you, right? So you just want to make sure also that your manager is honest with you. Now, I said honesty earlier. That's kind of different. What I mean now is honest with you, meaning that I remember once I had this fight in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'll tell you a quick story. I early on, when I started fighting, I won my first fight. My second fight, I got knocked out cold, right, by this guy who's a dentist somewhere now. It's Jimmy Myers, right? Knocked me out cold. So I made a commitment then that, I was going to get serious about fighting and that I'm going to do this thing. I remember when I got knocked out, I woke up and I said, hey, I can't be a world champion like that. My manager said, no, Johnny, you can't be a world champion like that, right? And so after that, I committed myself to fighting and training. I went 17-1 before I lost again. It was an ESPN fight. I went into Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Never forget it. Fought this guy's top contender, number 7. I think his name was Andy Brewer. And everything that I have, I beat Andy. Right? I beat him. He was in his hometown. I beat him. Seemed like everybody in the arena thought that I beat him. Had him in trouble a couple of times, and I didn't finish him. Well, after the fight, I'm devastated. I am just devastated. So I know I won the fight. I did everything I know, da-da-da. Doesn't matter, right? The judges didn't give it to me. Taught me another lesson. But my manager told me, Johnny, I think you won the fight. I really do think you won that fight. But there was a couple times you had him in trouble that you did not take him out. You didn't finish your job. So basically, he was telling me that I gave the judges the opportunity, right? The opportunity to defeat me. Taught me another lesson. So my manager, he was honest with me, though, right? He was honest with me. And that honesty helped propel me yet again because I said, okay, all right. So next time when I get in there, I'm going to try to knock people out. So after that fight, I got into the attitude of trying to knock people out. Got pretty successful at it, okay? So your manager should be honest with you. Another thing about a manager, that he should also know your buttons. He should also know what motivates you, right? A lot of times, if your manager does not really know you that well or don't understand things about you, things that pushes your buttons, they don't know exactly what to say and when to say it, right? And also, I was always appreciative of the fact, right, that my manager always told me the truth. My manager always told me that, hey, man, you know what? This is what's going on. But motivating me, understanding that, you know what, Johnny's not really pumped up the way he needs to be right now. Hey, what about your kid? What about your wife? What about, and what about all that hard work you put in? He would start motivating me and pumping me up, and that is what kind of helped change the game. So you should have a person that knows how to push the buttons and knows how to make it happen. Another thing, a manager should always remind you in a timely fashion of all the things that you need to do on time. Really important, right? Having a schedule for you. If you need to be at an appointment, you have an interview, you have to do something else, that manager should always keep a good calendar for you to make sure that you are doing all the things that you need to do. Now, here's the biggie, and this is real deal right here. A really good manager is not only going to invest time in you, but he's also going to invest what? Money. That's right. I know a lot of people are scared of that word. But a good manager is going to invest money in you because it's going to take some money. It's going to take, your phone bill might go up, for all the phone calls you got to make here, there, overseas, wherever. Obviously, I already said time, but it's going to cost some money in hopes that maybe you're good enough. Maybe he'll get it back one day, right? So it's going to take some money. It's going to be might be more money than they want to actually put into it. But the bottom line is, if they are really invested in you, they will put that money up for you. I know mine did a lot, a lot. And I'm still appreciative for that today. When it comes to the money too, sometimes if they really believe in you, they will actually put you before themselves. I know you don't believe that. I know you're saying like, what are you saying? Yeah, that's true though. Sometimes a manager will put you. I remember once when my manager, right, actually showed me his checkbook. And he said, this is how much money I have. And this is what I'm doing for you, and this is what I'm doing for me. I mean, where do you find that, right? I mean, I was lucky, man. I was so fortunate to have such a great manager who love him like crazy today, even, right? So in order for you guys to really find someone like that, you are going to need to ask the right questions and do the right things. Hopefully, you will be fortunate enough to find someone who cares about you enough, right? Who will definitely, take care of all of the needs that you have and will have for the fight sports, because it is not easy. It is a hard job. But if you do it right and you take care of the fighter, hey, guess what? One day that fighter might be taking care of you, And again, all of those things I talked about, honesty, sincerity, having a great attitude, and all of that are things that you will need, right, in a great manager, right? So I want to take that time to definitely talk to you a little bit about that because I know a lot of people are doing some things that are a little bit weird. They're pulling people, they're throwing them in at certain events, they're making certain calls for these people that I feel like maybe not the best call, right? And so, I felt like, what, let me just actually, say something about that today, about getting that ideal manager. And I hope you guys will maybe get something from this. Maybe if I said just one thing that might help out somebody down the road, then you know what? This conversation has not been in vain. And I certainly thank you guys for watching today. Again, we have two segments, the first segment and this segment about finding the ideal manager. Remember, guys, registration is still in progress for the third annual IKF Spring Classic happening in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina on March the 15th and 16th at the Crown Reef Conference Center. Registration is going on right now at akpromotions.org for men, women, and children. You definitely want to be a part of that event. As I said, we have a ton of IKF Point Muay Thai kickboxing events that are coming up. Check out the calendar, akpromotions.org or ikfkickboxing.com. A lot going on, guys. For the sport, we are growing, we're getting bigger, and therefore it's great for you, right? And I'm so glad to be a part of it. Thank you guys for watching this second edition of Johnny Davis Live today. Guys, this is Johnny Davis, Forward March, and I'm checking out. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.